Build Face channel, helping you build a better turn. My name is Dangerford, and we are in the third week of spoiler season. So as always, I will have links in the description down below to the original sources for all of these spoiler cards, and we're just going to get right into it. So, first up on Monday, the daily metagame revealed Calypso. Now I apologize, some of these cards are a little on the small side, so they may be a little fuzzy. Calypso is a 1-drop for the Femme Fatales. She is a 2/3 with 1 health. She has Voodoo Potion. When Calypso appears, you may remove all +1/+1 counters from a character. Holy hell, guys. That is a huge card. This is, I feel, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I feel like this card is going to be the new Cosmo. This is going to be a tech card that's almost in every single deck, especially the decks that have appear combos in them. So Singularity and Valkyrie are the two most prominent ones. But all of that counter generation that we've been talking about for the last couple weeks, well, Calypso says bye-bye to all of that, which is just ridiculous. It can just take out that huge Thor, or in the case of my Singularity mono deck, that huge Megan. Granted, she only does it to 1 character, so if your counters are spread out among many characters, then it's going to still be a difficult time for you, but she is going to be amazing with all the counter generation that's being revealed. Going on to the next one, we have Elektra. So we've already seen her main character, and this one's her supporting character. She's a 3-drop, also Femme Fatales, and a 3/4 stat with 2 health. She still has the dodge, which means she can't be ranged attack, and stealth as well, which Elektra can melee attack back row characters even while they're protected. She didn't have to pay for it or anything, it's just a keyword. And then yet another keyword, Paid Assassin, and this one's the kicker. When Elektra KOs an enemy back row defender, draw a card. Sweet, more milling, give me all the mills. Yes, Elektra and Calypso are both really interesting cards that I think are going to make Femme Fatales pretty competitive in the near future. So actually, to be honest, I like the Elektra supporting character quite a bit more than her main character. Again, that was brought to you by the daily metagame. On Tuesday, the Team Attack crew revealed Havok. We already knew that we were going to get Havok because of the Cyclops main character and how the name was spoiled for us in the level 2 ability for Cyclops. So Havok is a 5-drop, he has range, and he's a 5/6 with 1 health. Plasma Blast is his ability, and during the main phase, pay 3 laboratories and stun all supporting characters other than Cyclops and Havok. This is a really expensive card. It hasn't really gotten very much love by many, which is a little unfortunate. I was hoping there was going to be a little bit more synergy with Cyclops and Havok. They have a little bit there in the terms of they can't really affect each other, which, sure, that's interesting, but considering that Cyclops needs 2 blues to make his level 2 ability work, and Havok needs 3 blues, it's going to be pretty difficult to come across spending all of that, and it's basically just a more expensive and better version of Cyclops' second ability. So that's kind of odd. I could see this card being pretty interesting in some decks, especially decks that utilize the laboratories like Spectrum's ability or the new Crystal card from the A-Force team that was revealed a while back, where I can't remember if it's range or flight, but she gets some sort of pump by just having a blue basic location face up on your side. So yeah, Havok could have a place in the new set. Maybe there's some plot twists that are coming out for the X-Men that can help support this. Maybe something like build a better world for the X-Men in a sort of way, or maybe some sort of search mechanic that lets you search for those locations. We'll just have to see. Okay, on Wednesday, the one, the only, the build phase. We've got another Avengers spoiler for you guys, and this one is just as awesome as Peggy Carter. It's another 1-drop, which means that Peggy Carter combos with him pretty readily because he becomes free after she comes out. It's Falcon, and he has flight, is a 1/4 stat with 1 health. He has mobile, which means that once per turn, you can move him to your front or back row during your main phase. You can't be in combat though. That's a pretty important distinction there. He also has the ability Sidekick. When Falcon team attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each other attacker. Now again, we have another podcast episode that is all of us at Team Build Phase giving our impressions on this card, so I won't say too much about him. If you'd like to know more, then you should check out the podcast that Mr. Ben does. It's the Build Phase. I will make sure that I have a link for that in the description, as well as our impressions on the forum. The big one that I will just mention right now is that he is awesome, obviously, with Captain America because of the team attacking, but he also works really well with Thor, because if you can get him out on turn 1, Thor actually gets 2+1 counters instead of just the 1, because he's getting 1 from Sidekick and he's getting 1 from Berserker. So it helps him generate counters quick, and it's just all around a really good card to have for the Avengers. I think that the Avengers could be pretty competitive once this is all said and done. The Legacy set is out. Moving along, on Thursday, the UK Versus video channel released
Taskmaster.
That's right, Taskmaster. He's a 3-drop Underworld character. Our build phase crew member John has been waiting for this card for a long time. He's a huge fan of this. Probably a little jealous that he didn't get to reveal it, but you know, we didn't have Underworld. But you know, them's the breaks. So Taskmaster, he is a 3-drop. He is a 3-drop, 3/6 with 1 health. He has photographic reflexes. Taskmaster has all the printed keyword powers of face-up enemy supporting characters. I think flavor-wise, it's really awesome. It seems to work well as Taskmaster. He is really situational though. I mean, you can't really build a deck around him because you're relying on your opponent and what they bring to the table, and that's something that you can't really anticipate unless you're, I don't know, playing at the kitchen table and you've seen your friend's deck before. So granted, you can't really build around him. He does seem like a card that would be really good to keep in your hand for instances when there is a power on the other side that you would like to copy. So some notable ones were, since I've been all about the A-Force lately, I thought it was interesting that if Squirrel Girl was out, then Taskmaster immediately becomes a 3/8 and gets a Monkey Joe on your side of the board when he appears. Also, if Spider-Gwen is out, he gets to be recruited from your deck. That might need to be confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. We made a distinction in the last episode that the text is always online on a card, so this is something that I believe should work. Loki, that could work as well, so you could mill. I mean, the possibilities are pretty endless, but actually I suppose Taskmaster doesn't really want to see Loki on the other side because he's a pretty low attack character, which means most likely your opponent's going to grab him up if you don't have a higher cost character out on the table. But, you know, really interesting. I think this is probably one of the most fun cards revealed from the Legacy set so far, and I will definitely be utilizing him at least in the kitchen table. Who knows about tournament? It does seem a little iffy. Like, you just can't really rely on him to give you anything that you might want. I mean, it could be everything that you need. It could be nothing. It could be a dead card to you if your opponent just doesn't have anything that you can help counter it with. Moving on Friday, Upperdeck released the Grandmaster. He is a super villain, 3-drop, a 0/1 stat line, very low, with 1 health. He has Elder of the Universe. If Grandmaster gets stunned during combat, he doesn't get wounded. So that's the big distinction here, is he does have a really poor stat block, but it means that if he gets attacked in a combat phase, then he does not take a wound. It means that he survives for another day. I like that idea. It makes him invincible in a sort of way, but also you just have to tackle him from a different perspective than what is normally represented in the game. So he has a second ability, enforce the rules of the game when a supporting character appears other than by getting recruited from a hand, KO it. So this is a direct counter for Singularity. We've talked about it on the show quite a bit before, just how powerful appear effects are in the form of Iceman, Cosmo, Kane, one of my favorite cards, Emma Frost is another one that comes to mind, Ghost Rider. So the combos that work with Singularity will immediately be triggered by Grandmaster, and while each one of their effects when they appear will still trigger, it means that Grandmaster is going to KO all of them. This could be a really awesome tech card to use late game if the combo is real and it's already in full swing and it's kind of snowballing. This can stop it. It could help you sway the tide of the game into your favor, most definitely. But keep in mind, that if you have Wasp appear or Black Widow appear, it means that yes, they will KO, but they will also give Grandmaster a -1/-1 counter, which means that Grandmaster will also stun. So that's a very interesting distinction to make. So it's a hard counter against Singularity, but something that I did want to address that I think is pretty interesting is that he actually makes another appear combo in the form of Valkyrie much easier. To take things into consideration, I believe in the first spoiler recap episode we talked about Peggy Carter and her ability to be utilized with Valkyrie and 2 copies of Black Widow to start a machine gun effect with Black Widow's Sting ability, where she can infinitely come out from the KO pile from Valkyrie to stun your opponent's entire board. Well, guess what? Now you don't need 2 of them. If you have Grandmaster out on the field, then that can actually work against you in this circumstance, because you only need 1 Black Widow in your KO pile, because when she appears, she immediately gets KO'd, meaning that you can utilize that 1 copy of that card forever. So, that's something to consider in the future. Again, I think Grandmaster is going to be a interesting card, just like Calypso, in terms of a tech card in a way. If that combo is just snowballing, then this is another card that will really help you even out the game. The other card that was released is quite similar. It's the Collector. So a Guardian of the Galaxy. He is actually the first revealed Guardians card other than Cosmo, and I'm not sure if you could call Cosmo a spoiled card because he's just a revamp of the old Cosmo that we had. But either way, we have the Collector. He is a 5-drop, also with a stat block of 0, 1, and 1 health, and he also has Elder of the Universe in the terms that the Collector gets stunned during combat. He does not get a wound, so he will survive combats if somebody tries to attack him, but he is also susceptible to all of those -1/-1 out of combat mechanics. His ability: add to the collection. During the main phase, pay a yellow and collect a supporting character. That means you get to remove it from the game. You may only collect a character with a different team affiliation from every other character you've collected this game. That's really interesting. Again, it's very subjective, and I think in the terms of the Collector, it kind of comes out a little bit too late in terms of being a 5-drop. That's like the late end of the mid game going into the late game, and while he could be utilized to take out that 1 big character at the end, it just doesn't seem like it's fast enough to be utilized. Maybe this card will see some good play. I mean, the Guardians needed a pretty decent 5-drop. I don't feel like the other 5-drops are really that great at the moment, but the Collector could fill that slot, and he could surprisingly be really well if you can trigger his superpower and get it to work. Okay, so that's been all of your spoilers for this week. Again, I'd like to thank Mark, Shaughnessy, and Upperdeck for allowing us to do this, and if you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down below. Please hit the subscribe button if you enjoy what you see. I like to at least get these videos out about once a week, as well as other videos showcasing the Build Phase podcast with Mr. Ben. I do have some other series that I'm working on as well to bring to you, and once spoiler season is over, we'll probably be getting to some of those other projects, so we'll always have new content for you guys to enjoy. So if you have any feedback for us, you can reach us at contactus@thebuildphase.com. My name is Danger Ford. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.